Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen,
And I'm John Johnson.
and you're listening to Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, the podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, both classic and new comics we want to read, and everything else in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Planes, Trains, and Comic Books. Today we're reading...
Snake.
We're discussing. Yeah, we're discussing... I should say disgusting as well, because this book has some pretty graphic scenes in it. We're discussing the story. I guess this, happened in the mid-2000s. It's a Wolverine story, which, everybody loves Wolverine. He's everybody's favorite Canadian.
Yeah, every time we do Wolverine, you guys are like, yeah, Wolverine.
Yeah, everybody, we try to make everybody happy, which is why we have like 4 Wolverine episodes so far.
Yeah.
But, we space them out at least, so don't get too tired of it. But Old Man Logan is the name of this story arc. And this came out in the mid-2000s when I was at the comic book store, and I read it and was like, that was fucking awesome. And then I hadn't read it since then. And I was like, John, you should read this. It's fun. It's at least fun. It also spawned its own whole comic series itself that was called Old Man Logan. So multiple volumes of that.
I will say, if it's a continuation of this, I definitely...
It's at least a continuation, if not like... But it's not the same writer, though.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only caveat. This is Mark Millar writing.
Yeah.
Or Mark Miller, if you are... Say it like he does. I say it like I thought it was pronounced when I was younger or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm sure he hates the way we say it. But yeah, Mark Miller, who you might know from, he did the comic book Wanted, which is a movie. He did the Ultimate series. He did Ultimate Fantastic Four, the stuff that led up to the Marvel Zombies stuff. Just an amazing writer. Pretty much, he's got his own universe that's coming out on Netflix soon, called the Miller Universe or Millerverse, I think. It's like Jupiter's Ascending or Jupiter's Legacy.
Oh, is that okay?
I
thought I saw something about that.
So Netflix bought his whole universe, and that's what they're betting on for their superhero universe that they're going to make shows out of. So they bet big on Miller. So he's like, hell yeah, but hopefully
I will take that money.
Yeah, and so
good luck.
And then also the art on this is by Steve McNiven, who this is the same team that brought us Civil War. So he also wrote Civil War, and Steve McNiven did the art for Civil War.
It looks so good.
It looks fucking awesome. This book is fantastically drawn. Steve McNiven is a fantastic artist. So nothing really wrong with any of that. So, but what was your what did you think this was going to be about, and what was your thoughts as it was going?
So it was fun because my only real knowledge of it is that it's a really messed up story, and it's the very loose basis for the Logan movie.
It just by very loose we mean the name Old Man Logan was like. What if there was an old man and it was Logan?
And what if Wolverine was really old? Okay, let's run with it.
Yeah.
We don't need to read the rest of this.
Yeah,
they were just walking through the comic book store that's a great title. Let's run with it.
I can sell it. All right? I can write my own story, and there you go.
So I knew that it was darker, and I knew that there was a couple other key players in it. I won't spoil yet.
Yeah. Don't spoil
that. We're in this. Then we're gonna spoil it all, but. But I knew that we're in this that weren't in that. So I was interested. I definitely was already ooh, where is this gonna go? That being said, going into it, holy crap!
Right? Yeah. And this one's
the greatest hits of.
Yeah, it's pretty much what if you told someone who loved the X-Men Extreme line of comics and the 90s extreme stuff that was coming out, like the Rob Liefeld, Youngblood, and all that stuff. And you said, what would you want to see in a comic? That's what they put in this comic. So it starts off, and we see Wolverine's walking away from some battle he had. And he's like, I don't know what, no one knows what happened the night the heroes fell. All I know is that I was the only one that is still standing. And no one will ever recognize me again. And then it's been 50 years since he wore his costume, since he's been Wolverine,
Since he popped out his claws.
all of that stuff. And then we cut to 50 years from then, and we see Wolverine is riding a horse, and he is an old man. In fact, some might say an old man Logan. And and he doesn't go by Wolverine anymore. He only goes by Logan.
If people call him Wolverine in this, he's like, that's not my name. My name is Logan.
My name's Logan. I haven't gone by that name in a long time. So
it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi when he's hiding. It's Ben.
Sure. That's what I know about Star Wars. Anyway, back to the comic. So old man Logan, he's got a family now. It's 55 years later. He has married a lady. I don't even know what her name is because they don't even.
I don't think they. Yeah.
They don't even say her name. I don't think because that's how much she actually means in this comic. And he's also got 2 kids. He's got a boy who is a boy, and then there's a girl who is a guy. Yeah, I think I don't know. She's not gendered or anything in the book, so I assume it's his girl. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really anything in it that was that objectionable as far as it was violent. What was in there?
We'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it. Maybe I just breezed past it. Because I will say this comic was very, let's call it the popcorn movie of the summer.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like
it's a quick read.
It was a tight 72 minutes, and it hit all the action beats you wanted. It was like a Fast and Furious movie, except those are a little bit longer. Those are like 2 hours long, but it was like, it's trying to hit these points that you want to. It doesn't fill any of the gaps unnecessarily, or I would say some of them might be necessary, but it doesn't fill any of those gaps.
Yeah, and
it just moves along.
In some of the things that they throw in there, like it seems like there could be some real setup to this because, like,
yes,
so the dystopian world.
This could have. If I will say this, you know why this wouldn't get written nowadays? Because someone would take 42 issues to tell this story instead of just telling a fucking story. Because, God damn it, no one can tell like an uncompressed story anymore, or a compressed story anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to tell their like, I'm gonna write X-Men. Well, let me do my magnum opus. That's like my event is gonna be 400 issues long, and all of them are tied together. And if you didn't pick up one issue, have fun trying to follow along. So like, yeah, this was literally 6 issues in the Wolverine title that came out of nowhere. Mark Miller was like, I got an idea. And let me just take 6 of these issues and one like king size issue that was like an annual kind of thing, and then finish the story. So it was like 7 issues total. I read these 7 issues in about a half hour. That's how fast this fucking went by. It was just him going like, here's a cool idea. I'm executing that idea with no fluff whatsoever. So like we said, Logan's old. He's got a family. They're talking about rent and shit. They're talking about the banners.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Like the Hulks and the banner. You're like, wait, what? Isn't Hulk a good guy? Well, it turns out that in this America, the Hulk is bad. He is a landlord, and he owns from Washington. Huh?
I would call him a slumlord.
I mean, I guess slum is what you make it, right?
Yeah.
But,
well, so because that's what
you could have a nice house in California.
Guess. Well, that's one of the things in this is like this is very much dystopian future where.
Yes. Well, we already figured that out. Yeah. All the heroes died.
All the heroes died.
But what is unsuspecting, or what you don't think as a reader, is the Hulk is a bad guy. And the thing is, they say multiple Hulks too. So you're like, wait, there's more than one.
And they say
how does this make sense? So, and then they're talking about making rent, and as they're talking about it, they're like, we're not going to make rent. The banners pull up, and they pull up in the old Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Car?
Yeah, Fantastic Car. Is that what it's called? Okay. So like
it's the one that's like 4 different pods like that hover together.
Yes. And what it is you see like they've written like Dead and Forgotten and banners on the front and a bunch of other shit. And then there's not even Bruce in this group of Hulks. So there's like an older guy, a younger guy, and a woman, and they're all green. And they're just Hulks.
And the woman is breastfeeding.
Yes, while they're driving. So
yeah, I just thought that.
You're like, okay.
Like, okay.
And they all look like, inbred Hicks. So, and like not just like any inbred Hicks. We're talking like Last House, or not Last House on the Left. What's the one? Wrong Turn.
Hills Have Eyes.
No, well, or Hills Have Eyes. But like Wrong Turn with what's her name? Faith.
No.
I can't remember her
Yeah, I
actual
don't
name.
remember.
Elijah Dushku. But yeah, like I think she's in the first one of that. No, it's just like very, very like Deliverance style. And so they are like gonna collect money from him, and they're like, we know you don't have the money, so like, you know, we'll give you like another month to get the money, but it's better be all of it, and if you don't, we're gonna like eat you guys and kill you,
kill your family. But we are gonna rough you up this time too.
Yeah, and so they just beat the fuck out of Wolverine, and this was an interesting scene where like one of the Hulks is like, "You deaf, old man? You ready to take your beating?" And then Wolverine kind of looks up, and he like his claws come out, and then you see the Hulk get worried, like, "Uh-oh," but then he gets cut in half by Wolverine or by Logan, and then, but the next panel is the guy saying, "Well," the guy that he just cut in half. So it was like in his head, he wants to freak out, he wants to get angry, but he's taking a vow of peace.
Yes.
Or just will never fight again because of what happened. And we don't know what happened, but it's the day all the heroes died. So since then, he has never popped his claws. He's never snicked.
He never snicked again.
Never snicked again. So they beat the fuck out of him, and he doesn't do anything. And then his son gets a little mouthy with them and says, like, you get out of here. And, like, he pulls a gun on them. You got to love it when people who don't know how to draw guns. So it looks like an Elmer Fudd gun, which is okay, whatever. But yeah, so like he pulls a gun on them, but they don't care. They're like, "Oh, good, you know, whatever, kid. Like you better have all the money next month, double, because you know it's 2 months rent now. If not, everybody will die. Like we'll kill your whole family." So that is the crux of it, basically. So that is like the whole point of this story is Wolverine must get the money somehow, even though he didn't have the money anyway. Now he's got to get double the money by a month. And so while he's recuperating, because his healing factor doesn't heal as fast as it used to, he gets a visitor from someone we know, and I don't know if we love him, but we like him. It's Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is blind. He's got glasses, but in this he's like a blind man. I guess he got cataract.
Yeah, he got glaucoma.
Okay, so he's just smoking all that weed. And basically, Hawkeye's like, "Look, I know you need money. I will pay you whatever you need to get me across to New Babylon.
Yeah, take me across to the East Coast.
Yeah, but we didn't know that really until they show the map. I think he just says, "Take me to New Babylon." Like, oh, that far? Oh yeah, that far. We don't know how far that is until they actually show the map at the end of this issue, but. Like they take off, and we see also they're in the spider car, which is the Spider-Mobile. I don't know if this is a real thing. Did you know? Did you look it up?
when I saw it, and then he mentioned it because it had webs on the side, and I was like, is that supposed to be like the spider car? And then Hawkeye's like, yeah, we got it, and it's modified or whatever, blah blah blah, and it's like. That's like I only remembered it from like the toys, and I think like the old Japanese Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like. It was a very like fun kind of random like Easter eggy kind of thing. Like, really, this is in here? This is weird.
Yeah,
fun.
I wasn't sure if it was real, but I was down for it because why not? Whatever. So I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised because it's the 70s. I'm sure they put this stuff out, and we're like, sure, he's got a car. We got to make toys. Whatever, just put it out. I'm sure it was something from like the 70s animated TV show, Spider-Man or whatever. And
I love that Hawkeye's driving the car.
Yeah,
he's
like,
what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I can drive still. I just need you to navigate.
Yeah, you just say, whether I'm going towards a pit or
there's a bump in the road.
Yeah, but they're not even riding on like roads or anything though, because this is like a dune buggy. It can go through the desert, no problem. So, and they start out basically in Sacramento. And we see the map of where New Babylon is, and it's actually basically, I want to say like Massachusetts or somewhere like that.
It looked like about Baltimore.
Connecticut. Area. No, I think Baltimore's lower.
A little slower. Okay. Well,
I don't know. I'm not a geographer. Right.
There's one thing I know. It's from my states.
Sure. Well, they don't. Oh, that's the other thing. They don't look. You can't. There's no states.
On the mainland.
There's no states on this map.
That's true. Well, there are 5 big territories on this map.
And we see they actually they labeled what the territories are. So we see they are currently in Hulkland, which encompasses California, Oregon, and Washington. And then we see the next land is called the Kingdom of the Kingpin, and that is like would be Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Idaho.
Formerly Magneto's area, so something happened there.
It says formerly the domain of Magneto. So Kingpin owns it now, but it used to be Magneto's. Then there's like a giant nothingness, which is the whole mid of the U.S.
Yeah,
it doesn't say anything other than a couple cities, in Texas and whatnot. But then, and then like all of
like the
Bible Belt plus like the Steel Belt.
The Steel Belt, yeah,
is Doom's lair. So Dr. Doom, I'm assuming. And then another area, which is like Ohio and
Michigan.
Michigan's up.
No, you're.
Yeah, so it's like Ohio and I don't know somewhere else. It's not labeled anything. And then there's another, the New England and Florida and whole East Coast is called
Maine to Florida.
From Maine to Florida is called the President's Quarter. So we're like, well, who's the president?
Who's the president?
You know? Yeah. So that's their journey, and then there's like a little dotted line. We see New Babylon is basically right in the middle of New England. So that's where they're going, and they take off, and that's the end of the first issue. So they're on this journey, and then as they go through, they're just kind of meeting people, going through like settlements and stuff. We see what the spider car is capable of because it just like jumps off a cliff and can land no problem. So we're like, oh, this is not a normal car. They're just establishing that for later on.
Later
we
on
find out
things.
We also see there's like in this world, it's all dystopian because not Morlocks. I was gonna call them Morlocks, but they're like the mole people. There's like a bunch of mole kids because I guess the mole man has been fucking under the earth a lot, even back in the day, and like. Now he's got all these mole kids, and they're just like undermining cities if you don't pay him ransom and stuff, or if he feels like it, he'll just undermine the whole city and it'll sink. So like, there's a bunch of cities that have just sunk into the ground, and they find one and they're like, holy shit, and then we see like, oh, there's roaming bikers, and they're called the Ghost Riders, and this is the first time you actually see like Wolverine will for sure not pop his claws. He like. I mean, we all know it's going to happen sometime in this because it's the fucking Wolverine story, but it is not yet going to happen. He is very much stuck in his pacifist ways. Him and Hawkeye are getting the shit beat out of them by these Ghost Rider bikers. And when I say Ghost Rider bikers, they just look like they're not actually dead like Ghost Rider. They're not like
their bikes did have flaming like tires and stuff.
Yeah, I assume that's just like them putting flames
probably
or like gasoline or something.
Yeah, because one of the towns they go through specifically is like a tchotchke town. They're like, it's just this is a place where people go to remember the heroes because there basically are no heroes.
Yeah, and like everybody wants the heroes to come back. That's like the subjects of these horrible bad guys that now rule America. They don't really say anything about the rest of the world, but I'm assuming the rest of the world's in similar straits or whatever, or else. Why else?
Probably.
But they just show America in this. So, but yeah, they were beating the fuck out of Wolverine. They're like, come on, fight back, old man. And he is not doing anything. So, and then we see Hawkeye. He just starts murdering fools. He's like, as long as they're talking and making noise, he can pinpoint their location and shoot arrows at that spot. And he just puts arrows through all their heads.
It's pretty cool. Like he obviously made arrows. Like they look like they're like kind of like homemade, old Western style arrows. And yeah, it's fun that so his other senses kind of picked up a little bit to. Yeah,
and then like Hawkeye's like, man, what happened to you? Like you wouldn't even fight back at all. And then we get like a little flashback of it shows Wolverine in his costume, so we know it's 50 years earlier. Like a little flashback of him fighting Omega Red, Mr. Sinister, Sabretooth, another dude I can't tell who it is, but yeah, like he's just fighting for his life as they like. Are all ganging up on him. So he's like, they broke me, basically. Like, that's what happened to me. Like, I'll never do it again. So, so they continue. That's the thing about this book. It just, okay, you
They're road
could flesh
tripping,
out
yes.
more of this, but no, we just cut to the next morning and they're driving again. We're still driving, and so like we see like there's one place where it's in Nevada, and they're talking about like it's that town with the tchotchkes, and it's specifically the town where they say like the Great White Hope I think fell, and they're like, who's that? And they're talking about Thor because his hammer fell and no one has been able to pick it up since he died. So there's just a giant Thor's hammer just sitting
there
in the middle of this town, and they like worship it like it's a god or whatever, and they pray to it. And then we see like Ultron is in this, but he's like a dumb robot. I don't know. He's like a weird friendly robot.
He's like a family kind of butlery robot.
Yeah, and so like he's not really bad or anything in this. And then we find out Hawkeye has a daughter. And she's been kidnapped by the Kingpin, and that's actually like one of the main reasons why he wanted Wolverine as well, is because hey, we could just stop in Las Vegas real quick and save my daughter for old time's sake, kind of thing. But the weird thing is like he didn't even know, like he wasn't there for his daughter at all. Like he apparently just got this girl knocked up, and then the mom raised the daughter, and Hawkeye just did his shit, and then like every now and then he'll show up and be like, "Hey, it's Dad."
Yeah, because it's like his like second or third ex-wife. They say.
Yeah, like he's just been burning through them, whatever. So, and that's again they end with showing us that his daughter is locked up in the Kingpin,
and she's also.
She's dressed as Spider-Woman or like a spider person.
Yeah.
So because
there's so many different spider people. I was like, I don't know what this one is.
They said that her dad was Hawkeye, but then Peter Parker was her grandfather or something,
I guess, yeah.
I can't remember. Well, it was something like that. Like she was related to Peter Parker as well. And so it's like, oh, okay. So she's like taking on Peter Parker's kind of identity as like Spider-Man and like not Hawkeye. I'm assuming that's because he wasn't there for her. And then but she's got like a little super team, and I guess they all got captured. So then the next issue starts right away, and they agree like, okay, fuck it, we'll just stop and get her, and then once we save her and get her out of there, then we'll just continue on our way. It's kind of on the way anyway.
Yeah. Wolverine's still hesitant. He's like, well, I'll go, but I'm still not gonna like fight anybody.
Yeah, he's like, I will not fight anybody, but like I will drive you there. I'll be your navigator. That's it. So they do that, and then when they get there, they get to Las Vegas, and we see that the Kingpin is not the Kingpin we know. He's just some random guy called the Kingpin. Just some, he's called himself that. He is not anybody I knew, like off the top of my head. I was trying to think back at this time, was Kingpin like a black guy who was kind of like a gangster?
Yeah, no, that's the only thing I could. So. Well, that's the only thing I can think of is maybe they were taking, since this is kind of a different time. Maybe it's
what I thought was that he's just calling himself Kingpin. Then it was just to throw us off that like, oh, we were assuming it was going to be Wilson Fisk, and it wasn't at all. It's just some guy who was apparently able to take on Magneto, and then ended up calling himself Kingpin. Yeah. So, but yeah, so then we see like her buddies, the daughter's other friends. One of them kind of looks like Cable, and the other one kind of looks like Daredevil or something.
It's the Punisher and Daredevil.
Oh, is it the Punisher and Daredevil?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, they went to. I guess they originally went to help save them and the other team that got captured.
I misunderstood. I thought they were the team.
No. They went to save it, and they got captured. That's why.
Oh shit! Then this makes this even worse because I didn't get that. So Kingpin's like, yeah. Anyway, just fucking kill these guys, and apparently they have been able to Jurassic Park this thing, and so they actually made dinosaurs, and they have like a ring, like a Coliseum,
Coliseum
in
arena,
the middle of Las Vegas.
It looks like the football stadium.
Sure, I'm sure it's actually like Vegas's arena or whatever they have there. And so, but they just released these Velociraptors that eat the Punisher, and Daredevil, which I didn't realize that was them. Also, I didn't know it was Daredevil because it seems like he can see, so that's why I was like there's one scene where like you could see his eyes and stuff. I'm like, okay, I just thought he was like the new Daredevil, or he's not old looking to me, so like, he doesn't look like he's 50 plus years old, so that's what. either way, maybe I just misread that, but John tells me I am wrong, so I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you on this one. But anyway, basically everybody's like, yeah, you these dinosaurs murdered Daredevil and the Punisher. That's pretty badass, and it is pretty badass. But as a reader, but like, yeah, that was so fucked up if that actually was the real Punisher and the real Daredevil. And they're so Wolverine and Hawkeye are like, okay, we got to go save Ashley. Like, they get a plan going. They're able to free her.
Yeah, and this is one of the things, the spider car like drives up and on the side of the building.
Much like Spider-Man, it can crawl on the sides of buildings. So they drive it up along the sides of the building, and then it like launches into the room where she's being held, and she's like, oh, I knew you'd show up. And then like Hawkeye kills everybody and frees her, and then she instantly takes a shotgun and chops off Kingpin's head, like, because he runs in the room like, what are you guys doing? And then like she's like yeah, she lops his head off. I don't know how, she must have hit him super fucking hard.
Yeah.
So but it's just a shotgun, it's not like a knife or anything. She just hits his head off, and it shows it all, like in a big splash page, like head missing, blood all over the place. And then she's like, I'm fucking in charge now. And they're like, wait,
this is my territory.
I thought you came here to free everybody. And she's like, that's because you're stupid, Dad. I killed the Kingpin, like he killed Magneto, and now I'm in charge of this shit. So like, she just wants to be in charge of, Las Vegas, or I guess the whole territory or whatever.
Yeah.
So, So then Wolverine, being, driving the car, he gets, Hawkeye out of there before his daughter almost kills him. And, they drive away. And then, basically,
I like that they start getting chased, like she tells people to go, and they start to catch up real fast. It's almost Mad Maxy.
Yeah, there's definitely like cars chasing after them,
and they have like dinosaurs too that they're chasing.
Yeah,
after
it was Mad Max. You're right about that. Like, it definitely felt like, okay, I guess everybody has doom buggies and
and I specifically like Wolverine was like, why are there so many dinosaurs? Like, he's like he doesn't understand, and Hawkeye's like, yeah, once they figured out how to do it, then basically people got like they made so many and people got bored with it that they just kind of like started letting them loose, so people would like wrangle them up, because originally people were buying and selling them,
right? Like tigers in Texas. Yeah,
but then they're like, we're bored with these, and so they just let dinosaurs loose, so people would take them and then make them, they're like weapons of war.
Hell yeah, I would do it. So anyway, they're getting chased, and then all of a sudden the ground like falls out from under everybody, because the mole kids have undermined this. I guess they got probably woken up by all the cars driving. They're like, what the fuck is this?
What is this? We're translate.
Yeah, and so they just undermine the whole thing, and all the cars crash underground, and everybody except Logan. I thought this was kind of convenient. Everybody except Logan and Hawkeye's car, everybody else gets dragged out and eaten by these fucking mole people. And the mole people didn't even like try to eat them.
To be fair, they have a long line of people maybe that they're coming to get, and then
I guess
so they just don't quite get to Logan. And
I guess
that was my thought process with it, because I thought it was weird.
I was just like, how convenient that they didn't quite get to them yet.
They're the main characters. They have to survive.
Sure, but they were able to just literally drive out of this hole, which I thought was funny. They're like, all right, car's fine. I'm like, what is this car, like made out of adamantium? Because it like literally fell and then got crushed by rocks. Like, fell probably like 50 to 100 feet into the earth.
Well, they do say
crushed by rocks, and then
it's not like it's got some problems now, but it's still going.
I mean, it's able to climb the vertical face of this wall. So yeah, then they get out, and then much like Jurassic Park, they just drive by some dinosaurs, just like Jurassic Park, as they run by majestically.
Yeah.
So, and then we see like there's just dinosaurs all over this place. We see they go by. This is where like they just start jumping like hundreds and thousands of miles of America.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, look at that, dinosaurs. Hey, look at that. Now we're at Mount Rushmore, which is in the middle of South Dakota or whatever, or the Dakotas, and it's like, isn't that like 4,000 miles or something from California or Las Vegas or whatever, where the fuck you were?
It's fun though, fun little things. Like there was like a skeleton of Loki that they passed by, and then like Venom symbiotes, I guess.
There's like a Venom symbiote Tyrannosaurus Rex that like comes out of nowhere and starts attacking them and stuff.
Yeah.
But then we also see on Mount Rushmore there is the normal presidents we've seen. You got Jefferson, Washington, Roosevelt, and Lincoln. And there's a fifth conspicuous person who you're like, wait, have they finished carving his face? It's a skull.
It's a skull.
Well, that's weird. I wonder who that president is. Spoilers. And so they spoiled their own book.
To be fair, I actually didn't think
You didn't put that together?
No.
What'd you think that meant?
I don't know. I just thought it was like a creepy skull they carved on there. I wasn't thinking that far yet.
Wow, okay. All right, John.
He was not a character in the book, so I didn't think about it.
I mean, it's just all the villains own everything, and then you're like, well, I wonder who the president is. And then all the presidents are on this thing, and it's a skull face.
I didn't put that
together. Anyway, John's a little slow. Anyway, so they're like now in Iowa. We kind of like Hawkeye and Wolverine are like bonding a little more through this experience, and they start opening up with each other. And then we see like basically there's like almost a bar brawl that happens, and Wolverine almost kills a guy over like nothing, and then Hawkeye's like, no, Wolverine, don't. And then like Wolverine walks out and is like
Logan.
Logan walks out, and then Hawkeye's like, Logan, what happened those 50 years ago?
He says, I'll tell you.
He's like, just sit down, I'll tell you. And then that's how that issue ends. And then then we find out what actually happened. So 50 years ago, we got Jubilee and we got Wolverine, and they're in the danger room. And out of nowhere, the attack starts. We got Silver Samurai, Dr. Octopus, Shocker, all these people. And they just start attacking Wolverine.
Yeah, they start attacking the X-Men mansion.
Yes, but specifically Wolverine. I mean, they're going after him hardcore, and he's just trying to kid the kids out. You know, he's like, go kids, I'll like protect you. And he's murdering them. He's literally murdering them. Like he's cutting them in half and going all out, which I was like, that's interesting. I mean, I get that they're attacking, but in every other X-Men comic, he doesn't actually like murder them, I'm assuming. Right?
Well, I think that's from my understanding of it here too, is like they were coming supposedly, like they were saying they're going to kill everybody there too. Cool. And they have, and like more and more villains are coming, because then you see like the Blob.
Yes, that's true.
And
it just seems like they're all coming.
Man and
so he's
Green
like,
Goblin.
He's like, not just when he punches someone, his claws are out. So he literally cuts like Silver Samurai's face in half, then cuts his head off. Then he like just cuts through everybody. He's cutting. There's like Green Goblin and a bunch of other people. And so he's like,
and throughout this whole time, he's like, where the hell are the other X-Men?
Yeah, what happened? Why are they here? And then all the kids are crying and running away, and he's like, don't look back. And then, so like he's killing people.
And Sabretooth comes. This is where you see that last scene. Sabretooth and Omega Red, Lady Deathstrike, Scorpion.
Bunch of people.
Yeah. Oh, Bullseye's the last one. Bullseye is like, he said he fights Bullseye for almost like 90 minutes or something.
Yeah. It's like he wouldn't die. We just kept taking chunks out of each other until finally, and then it shows him like stab him through the chest. And he's like, and then Bullseye says, Logan, please stop. Why are you doing this? You're supposed to be our friend. And then Wolverine like stops and goes like, huh? And then we see
all of these kind of like mystical clouds, and it says, oh dear.
All these mysterious clouds. And we see basically Mysterio. There was no attack. Mysterio made Wolverine think all the X-Men in the mansion were the bad guys and were attacking him, and so he killed all the X-Men himself.
And I liked how deep it was. I didn't see this. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't see how you would. It didn't. It literally comes out of nowhere. Like, oh.
And Mysterio's like, yeah. Not only did I make it seem like that, but like he even changed, because it's Wolverine. He changed the smells.
Yeah,
too.
he did. So it wasn't just like, oh, it's a different. I'm seeing different. It's like the smells, the touch, the taste, everything.
That was
so Wolverine could not figure it out, and so you just see a room full of all the dead X-Men. Yeah, he murdered everybody.
Mysterio's like, this is on behalf of the villain community. Like, I don't know why we didn't think of doing this sooner. Thanks for taking out like the entire X-Men, all of the mutants. Now, yeah, pretty much.
And then he's like, I tried to kill myself, but like it wouldn't take, so I just took a vow of peace or whatever, and that's what happened. So
he doesn't just try to kill himself. He puts his head on the rail and has a
Yeah,
train
he's got an
come by.
adamantium skeleton.
I know, that was pretty intense.
I would be funny if like the whole train derailed.
The train just
because
derailed.
it's like an
God,
adamantium.
I can't do anything right.
Yeah, he kills all the people.
Killed more
on the train.
people.
So yeah, that's probably what would have happened if he actually did that. But so then Wolverine's crying. They got like a heart to heart, and like Hawkeye's like, holy shit, like that's a lot more intense than I thought it was gonna be. But I'm sure you're okay. And then I thought this part was funny. Then they just like cut to another. Oh, we're next day. We're driving now.
We're driving,
and so they're somewhere else, and it's called Dwight's Toll. And then you see this little kid, and he's got Ant-Man's helmet, and he's like, you got to pay the toll if you want to cross this bridge.
80 cents.
80 cents. And then Hawkeye's like, here you go, Dwight. Stay out of trouble. And he's like, no problem. And then like Wolverine's like, why did you pay him? Like, why'd you even deal with him? He's like, you wouldn't believe how like serious this is. And then like it cuts to the bottom of the gorge under the bridge is just full of skeletons and shit. So he was like making ants eat people or whatever with his
80 cents
brain.
Well spent.
Yeah. And so like we said, we're finally in like Dr. Doom area now. And like we said, there's like Tyrannosaurus Rexes running around that have like venom.
Yeah, there's like
Tyrannosaurus
Tyrannosaurus
on and
that have symbiotes, and this is actually really cool too. So like one of them like is like really like, okay, I'm gonna chase down this car and eat these guys.
yeah, just like Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
And it must go faster. Life finds a way. So yeah, he's they're chasing him down. Then we see there's someone that looks kind of familiar who is watching this happen, and obviously it's Emma Frost. So Emma Frost is like, holy shit, it's Hawkeye and Wolverine. Let's send Black Bolt out to save them. So Black Bolt comes out and he like opens his mouth or whatever and whispers.
he whispers, "Stop."
Yeah, and the symbiote, which is always as we know, doesn't like loud noises, just flies away from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, who also falls down.
Yeah, falls. It looks like he faints or something.
Yeah, it just passes out. And so like the T-Rex is sleeping, and then. Yeah, the symbiote's like, oh my god, like it's just like sliding away from the dinosaur, and then they bring him to Emma Frost, and she's just like,
What's up, boys?
Like, yeah, what are you guys doing? Then we kind of figure out like what there's it seems like there's more to this mission than what Hawkeye kind of led on.
Yeah, so it basically comes down to from this part so far that
like we thought he was a drug dealer and he's selling drugs basically. That's what we thought they were carrying in this case.
Yeah, that's kind of where where they say here is that
It's more than that.
Yeah,
like they're like, oh, you're a drug dealer, and then it's like, yeah, but there's more than them, or like, is that all that's in this case or whatever? And it's like, well, we're not going to let you like take it or whatever. And so they are let out from this, but then
they basically fix up all the little problems with the
that's convenient too. They fix up the car for them so they can make the back journey because she's still a hero, I guess, even though she's like
she goes back.
She seems bad, but then she's like, oh no, you can continue on your way. So it's kind of like a weird pet stop. It was literally just there to like put the seed of doubt that like, oh, this is more than just a drug deal thing. That's what Wolverine thought it was, and then we're fixing the car so that it's all good. And then, so then we see they're now driving again they go through Ohio, then they end up in Connecticut, and then we see there's a place called Pym Falls, Connecticut.
As they're driving away too, it shows two panels of a cloaked figure, and then you see it's Dr. Doom like overlooking them as they're driving away.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, like, wonder what's gonna happen here.
Like he just knew they were there and let them go. Like, what's going on? That's weird. Then we also see why this place is called Pym Falls, because apparently Giant Man, also known as Hank Pym, was giant and died, and then his body just rotted there gigantically.
Yeah,
and so they called it.
He fell over there and
and then he tripped and he couldn't get up, and so so he rotted there, and so his skeleton's there with his like Ant-Man suit on. And
it's funny. You see, looks like the one road that goes through the body.
It's like it goes through like the spinal cord area, like So it's very interesting. But they finally get to like kind of where they're trying to get to, which is New Babylon, and we see there's a lot of propaganda on the screens in what looks like kind of Times Square. It says there's a screen that says "Love with Force." and always watching you and work, family, hate. So, standard American values.
Very much so.
And they get there and like, oh, wow, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. And we see there's like a statue of, like a giant statue of the Red Skull. And
he's holding a fistful of like a bunch of heroes. It looks like he's crushed.
Yeah, when one of them is Captain America as well. So we see the shield. And so and this place looks kind of weird and interesting, but basically Hawkeye's like, oh, we're going to this bar. I got to meet up with this guy. And what it turns out, there's a guy that looks like Fat Hitler. It kind of looks like
I thought he looked like
he looks like Nathan Lane from The Producers. Or
yes,
like that's what they're going for possibly in this. But he looks like a Fat Hitler, which was funny, I thought. And
his name is Tobias, right?
Yeah, Tobias. And so they're like, hey, did you get what I came for? And it turns out they're like, or what Hawkeye thinks is they're a resistance movement, and he's like supplying them whatever we thought it was. We thought it was drugs, but it's not drugs. They open the case, and what it actually is super soldier serum.
50 vials.
50 vials. So they're gonna kickstart this rebellion movement with 50 vials of super soldier serums to awaken 50 new heroes, basically. And
Hawkeye's like, there's one caveat before you take this. You're going to get 49 actually, and you're going to let me help, and you're going to let me have one of those serums.
Yeah, and he's like, sure, whatever, friend. And then it turns out...
I did like this panel because they're like, yeah, they believe in Hawkeye. That's right.
Yeah.
Good old Hawkeye is back in action, guys.
Yeah, he's all happy. He's like, thanks. And then then you hear like... And then out of nowhere, someone starts shooting Wolverine with a machine gun. And then Hawkeye's like, what the hell? And then he gets shot right in the chest by Tobias, who's like, down boy. And basically it turns out Tobias is working for the state.
Yep,
he
works for S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s still around.
Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D., but now S.H.I.E.L.D. is...
Hydra, basically.
Or just, the NSA or whatever. And so...
Or just the
deep state, the normal government. Yeah. And so... he's now like the police state for this fascist government that's run by Red Skull. And he basically shoots Hawkeye in the head and murders him. And that is the end of that issue. And then we get chapter 7, which is kind of like, I think there's one more chapter after this that's like the king size issue, but this was like the main part of the run, 7 issues long. And we see we get like 50 years earlier flashback when this issue starts. And we see Captain America is in the rubble, and it looks like Bucky Barnes' Captain America.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It looked like
because this is right around the time that Captain America died, so it looks like Bucky, but I'm not sure if it actually is Bucky or not. But he's wearing the Bucky costume.
Yeah, the like mainly black. Yeah, with the blue in the.
Yes, and so he is like the White House.
It's the Capitol building.
I'm sorry, the Capitol building is burning and in rubble around Captain America, and Red Skull's walking up to him and saying, "What are you whispering, Captain?" Is that a prayer? There is no God today here, just me. And so,
this one particular guy, I am such a huge Captain America fan, and I didn't really get that Red Skull was going to be
surprisingly
the president. I'm sorry until the statue, and I was like, oh, Red Skull, and then the way this one starts, I was like, oh my god, this is so badass, and it is because next
Captain America's crying. I mean, this is such a hardcore scene. Captain America's crying because he's seeing America fall in front of his face. He can't do anything about it. And the Red Skull's like, haha, you're crying. Don't worry. I'll take care of the world once you're gone. And then he pulls a mountain and takes his thumbs and shoves them in Captain America's eyes. And we're assuming he crushes his skull after that. He pulls a mountain from Game of Thrones, basically.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah. And then we cut to New Babylon now. And we see in the White House, there's all these Nazi flags and everything, and new statues of Red Skull on the lawn. But he's in his little memorabilia area, and he's got all the Avengers armor and Cap shield and all this stuff. One thing, he's got beasts, pelt, which I thought was cool. I was like, what a weird fucking memento to keep, but you got beast pelt, you got angel's wings.
He had an arm from the thing. It was
yes,
big, yeah.
He just would cut pieces off of people, be like, I remember that guy. Let me just take a token, like, you know. So, and then he goes around wearing Captain America's uniform.
Yeah, he's wearing Captain America's uniform
because he's like,
that is stained with blood.
Yeah, he says like, you know, someone says like, why do you wear that thing? And he goes like back in the day, these warriors used to wear the skins of their enemies, like for to take their spirits or whatever. And he's like, so I mean, I figure I'll do the same thing, kind of thing. So he's taking like the uniform of Captain America.
Yeah.
And then basically Tobias is like, hey, check it out. I got this, you know, the super serum. Here's the 2 dead bodies of the people that brought it. You know, one's Hawkeye and as they say, like, oh, this is one, it's Wolverine, and he's healed enough to get up and start fighting. And so he tries to take on the Red Skull, but Red Skull, you know, he's a super soldier.
He's a super soldier too.
He, you know, is not doing too well, but then he breaks the case with like all the armor and everything, and he's able to get Cap's shield, and he is about to get killed by a sword. I don't know if it's someone's sword or just a random sword, but like he tries, Red Skull tries to hit him with a sword, and also he like locks them in this room. Red Skull's like, no one else will kill this man except me or whatever. Like, it is I must kill all the heroes or whatever. So he like takes him on like honorably, we'll say, where it's just one-on-one. And because Wolverine got Cap's shield, he's able to block the sword, and then he's fighting really well with the shield now, and he just really quickly decapitates.
Oh, he knocks him down.
He knocks him down, but then he just really quickly.
Because he has him sitting there with it, and Red Skull's like, I thought you were pacifist now. Like, you don't have the guts to do it. And then the next panel is him.
You gotta remember, he said, I will never pop my claws again. Not, I won't ever kill anyone again. So, he said he would not kill anybody with his claws earlier. That's like what the whole thing was. Now, whether he's going to use Captain America's shield, that's what he does in this.
Poetic justice.
He decapitates Red Skull with Cap's shield in a very bloody, gruesome
That is one of my all-time favorite comic panels now. I freaking loved it.
You should buy it. I'm sure it's worth $20,000 or something on, you know, some website.
Sure.
Someone's got it in their house. But anyway, Wolverine is able to decapitate Red Skull, and then he's like, hey, look at all this. There's all these fucking other hero armor around, and he sees Tony Stark's Iron Man suit, and he's like, cool. And you see him like smirk, and then he just puts it on, blasts his way out of this place because there's all these guards and stuff on the outside. He gets money that was Tobias actually did bring money to the buy of the super serum. So he like sees the money. He's like, cool, I'll just take that and then pay off my debt. So he wears the suit, and he's like, now take me back to Sacramento, suit. And he just flies all the way back to home, which I was like, wow. He's like, how can I just condense this back journey? Like, we don't need to have him driving back. We don't need to let's just have him fly there as fast as possible. So he goes full speed to California, and
Makes sense. But he is starting to lose power. Because obviously,
sure, when he gets into California, so like he literally flies with a suit that hasn't been charged or whatever in like 50 years, flies from New England to California, and I don't know how far he crashes from his house, but basically he's able to get home in 36 hours from where he crashes. He walks in, he's like, hell yeah, I made it in time, even with some time to spare. And as he's getting there,
because he's only really been gone like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it hasn't even been close to a month. And so he's like, sweet, I'm home. And then as he's getting there, there's like, you know, his neighbor who looks very sad. And he's like, what's wrong? He's like, well, the Hulks got bored waiting, so they just came 2 weeks early and murdered your family anyway. And like Wolverine's like, what the fuck? And he walks in the house, and they're just like beat to death and murdered. And Logan's like,
he's like, Logan, what's wrong? Like, you know, it'll be okay. We'll have a good funeral.
Yeah,
Logan, what are you
take that
thinking?
money you were going to pay with and just give him a good Christian funeral. And he's like, Logan? And then Logan says, the name isn't Logan, bub. It's Wolverine.
And Snick,
yeah,
a whole splash page of Snick
pops his claws for the first time in 50 years, and they burst out of his skin. They're all bleeding and everything. It's a pretty awesome splash page, and that's like the end of that issue. So then we get the final chapter, which was actually like a king size issue that was kind of on its own, and this is now where we see the Hulks just having murdered the family. I mean, like literally they came that day earlier and murdered them. So it seems like they murdered them. Now they're washing off the blood and everything. And they're like, man, I wanted to eat them. And they're like, no, Pa said. So now we know Hulk is still alive, even though we've only seen like his kids. He's like, no, Pa said just leave them so that,
sends a message.
Sends a message. Yeah. And so, so then they're talking, and all of a sudden, one of them's like, so Rufus, what'd you do yesterday? And he's like, Rufus? And then we see Rufus is all cut in half all of a sudden in the water. And then he's like, what? Rufus? And then Wolverine bursts out of the water, cuts this fucker up. Then we go to the bar. Stark's Bar, it's called. I'm sure they did that on purpose to make fun of Tony Stark. And there's more Wolverine family in there. And
Hulk family.
I'm sorry, Hulk family. And Wolverine goes in there and he fucking kills them very violently. Murder. I mean, this is like the bloodiest thing you've seen in a Marvel comic in a very, very long. This is like not a Max comic.
No, and
this is a regular on the shelf. Basically. Yeah, this should have been like a Max storyline or something, but they were just like, no, it's fine. And so
kids love Wolverine.
Kids love Wolverine. So then we see all the Hulk kids. It seems like the Hulk kids aren't as strong as Hulk was, at least. Even the Hulk doesn't seem like he's as strong as he was, and maybe it's just like over time or the inbreeding.
I was saying we kind of see as we get along through this. It seems like most of these Hulk kids are inbred Hulk kids.
Yes,
like legitimately.
Yes, and we also see there's luckily we still know Hef's mansion, the Playboy mansion, is still around because there's a place called Hef's mansion. We're assuming that's Hugh Hefner, and that's now like a whorehouse for the Hulks. And we see some of the Hulk kids are just finishing up having relations with the ladies, and they're all passed out. And he's like, they're going to regain consciousness in a little bit, ma'am. But like, it's been a while for me. So that's why it was so long or whatever. It's like, basically he just wore out all the ladies or whatever. And the madam is like, don't worry, just tell your dad how much fun you had. And maybe he'll take some off the rent this month or whatever. And, so yeah, basically they're just like there's like a whorehouse just for the Hulk boys, I guess. And then it turns out there's like a giant. Wolverine shows up there and murders those guys, but then we see where Banner is, and it's called Banner's Lair. And someone's talking to him on the inside. And they're like, Papa, he's coming this way, Papa. Like, and then we see kind of some of the Hulk, and you see like his face smiling and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then there's just like a giant
it's like trailer park
or RV
camp,
park in front of his lair. He lives in a cave, but everybody else lives in trailer like RVs
in the front. And like I love and they're all like kind of bulky Hulklings, but they have like some have mullets and some have like you can definitely tell
they're very like Appalachian, we'll say. So anyway, he like basically he takes the Fantastic Four car and he straps the guys that were in that the whorehouse to it with dynamite and all this stuff, and he drives it into the middle of his camp, and it explodes, and then he just starts murdering everybody as he goes through this camp and just kills everybody. And as he's killing everybody, we see like some of the ones that we saw earlier, like the woman that had the baby was nursing and all that stuff. He chops her head off, and then we see Wolverine gets to the cave, and he's like, Banner, come out and face me, you fucking coward. And we doesn't say fucking, but he might as well.
He might as well at this point, yeah.
And then you see Banner walk out, and he's just an old man. He's not even hulked out.
Yeah.
And he's like, shh, you're gonna wake the baby. And then he starts fighting Wolverine like he's got Hulk strength as just a human Banner,
as old man Banner.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. So like apparently he has learned to control Hulk's strength in his Banner body, but not Hulk out. So he starts fighting Wolverine, And then he starts talking about how like how like this kind of all happened, where he was like, who else was I gonna mate with? It was just me and my cousin.
Yeah.
So like he's talking about She-Hulk. I guess he and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he forced She-Hulk or if they got together somehow.
They didn't quite say that.
They don't talk about it. They just say me and my cousin. That's how we had all these kids.
But like, I do like his speech going through. He's like, man, and I just got bored being a bad guy and killing people. And eventually, I was like, I miss the old days, and like maybe I should just try to push Wolverine over the edge. Maybe we can get him.
Well, and this kind of explores. I mean, they've always had a rivalry, right?
Yeah.
Like we read that in like Infinity Gauntlet and stuff, right? So this is kind of like their ultimate poking and prodding story, right? Like where does it end up? And this is where it ends up: is they finally fight the big fight, and Wolverine ends up stabbing Banner through the chest, and then all of a sudden you see what Hulk looks like now, because he hulks out. He's like, "You shouldn't have done that."
And
then he like hulks out, and he looks fucking disgustingly gigantic, like obese Hulk, which is an interesting, crazy looking Hulk. And he
kind of made me think of like one of the trolls from The Hobbit or something.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because he's bald and stuff. Yeah. And then his teeth are all like gigantic and stuff. So, but then he just grabs Wolverine and he like takes him by his arms and his legs, and then he just bites the middle of him and he eats him. The whole thing. He eats Wolverine entirely, chews him up. It's in his belly. Yep. And then it just cuts to 12 hours later. And we see like there's pretty much no one else left. Everybody's dead except Banner. And then we see the baby still alive. And there's one other guy that was like, he had gone out to get like dinner or something. And then he came back. He's like, what happened, Paul? Everybody's dead.
He's like, shh. Just no, it'll be okay. Just you, me, and the baby.
Yeah, and we can always like repopulate with the whores at Hef's house or whatever. So he's talking about that, but then it seems like Hulk's got some indigestion, and he's like, "Oh man, I haven't been good since earlier today." And he's like, "What'd you eat?" He's like, "An old friend or whatever." And then it turns out he's like, "Geez, my guts!" And then all of a sudden, Hulk is leaning over in pain, and the guy's like, "Wait, you said you ate Wolverine?" And he's like, yeah, we've been eating our bad guy or like our foes for years. And he's like, doesn't he have a healing factor? And he's like, you gotta be kidding, you little runt. And then he's saying, you little runt to Wolverine, because that's what he used to call him, puny runt or whatever. Yeah. So then all of a sudden, Wolverine cuts his way out of the back of Hulk with his claws. He healed inside of Hulk,
him, yeah.
And then clawed his way out of his stomach.
That's freaking incredible.
And I guess Hulk is like vulnerable enough in this future to be, like his body isn't,
if he's ripped through from the inside.
Yeah,
definitely.
I would hope so, but then we see there's only one. There's the last kid left, and then the baby, and basically they don't show him. Does he kill the other guy?
No, he says he's like, don't hurt the baby Bruce, like just. You did what you need, just go. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt him. Hulk took my family, so I'm gonna take his. It's like poetic justice.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, so yeah, you don't know if he killed him or not.
We don't know if he killed the baby, but what about the other adult?
We don't. Yeah,
I don't know if he killed the other adult Hulk either. I would assume he would, because that guy is just a Hulk. Like I'm sure he killed people and everything in his time as his family or whatever. So. But the baby is still redeemable, right? Because he's a baby. So we see Logan's now giving his family a farewell funeral a month later, and the whole town is there. And then he's like, you know what? My wife and babies don't live here no more. I'm not going to live here anymore either. But like, I'm going to go live my life.
I'm not just going to live my life. They were like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, I think I might basically take back our country.
Yeah, hell yeah. And so he's gonna go try to kill all the bad guys, but you see on his back he's got baby Bruce, so he's gonna raise.
Yeah, so it's like a lone wolf and cub kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's how it ends. It ends off him riding into the sunset on a horse, going to kill. I guess it would be.
They've already.
I guess it would be Hawkeye's daughter.
Hawkeye's daughter, Doom.
Doom, And that's it.
That's about it. Yeah.
So
he doesn't have much work left, actually.
Not too much, but they're there. So, so yeah, and then he's gonna raise baby Hulk, so baby Bruce, and so yeah, that's pretty much it. What did you think, John? What would you give this one?
I love this.
Yeah,
like just like you said, everything moved on to the next, and I guess just because I wasn't expecting that either, I was like, oh wow, like this is really trucking, and like there's a lot of stuff that happens in this. And,
yeah.
It was fun, and like I liked Hawkeye stuff. It was fun, and then like I said, especially with the Red Skull, that the last chapter of that book, that definitely won me over. I was like, hell yeah.
Yes, I remember reading this one and being like, holy fuck, when it was coming out in issues. I think it had like a long delay between some issues though, so like that kind of like put a damper on some of that. But for the most part, I think it was pretty on time. But I remember reading this and being like, holy shit, that's crazy. And then then I went to college and everything. Just forgot about it. And then that's why I was like, hey, let's read this one. I think it's still pretty good. So
and it is.
Yeah. And what would you
I loved it. It's up in my top ones I've read. This is a 9 for me.
It's a 9 for you? Wow.
Yeah, two weeks in a row, 9.
Wow. Double 9s. So I'm gonna give this one. This one's hard because the art's fantastic. I think the story is what it is, and for what it is, it's fun. Like if we're, it's hard because I'm like, if we're just going by enjoyment, I would give it a 9 too, probably. Like I had a blast reading it, but I literally.
But you're gonna bring in your did it change comics forever?
Yeah. I'm like, what did it do?
Did you think too hard about this?
I did, mainly because I finished reading it in like a half hour. Like I think like a 8-issue comic series.
How all good comics should be.
No. I don't know about. I mean, there's different things about it, but like
I'm kidding, of course.
It flowed really fast, and it didn't. There was like no filler at all, no explanation on some stuff. They left things hanging to a point, like with his daughter, with Hawkeye's daughter, with stuff like that. They just breezed past stuff, like Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and now you're making me think. It's like, oh man, yeah, that's true. Like because we see Doctor Doom glare, and I'm like, oh man, we didn't get anything with Doctor Doom.
It's almost like he had bullet points, and like it was like. Thor's hammer in the middle of town. Kingpin's decapitated by Hawkeye's daughter.
Yeah, and there's
and then he just and we drove through that town. Like they just showed a picture of them driving in the middle of those bullet points.
And is talking about that now seriously. Like I could have had a whole we could have taken a whole issue of learning the backstory of like how Magneto finally got defeated, because I knew it said he was old,
right?
But like. That could have been a cool thing.
Well, and the reason why I say that on this is because it was like a story in the middle of a Wolverine run. So this wasn't like a mini series or anything. This was like Wolverine number 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79 or whatever. Like it was just actual issues and then like a king size issue to end it. And so it was, to me, that's weird.
Yeah,
right?
That's really weird in the middle, because this definitely seems like it. Just a one-off,
right? If you're doing like a run, it seems like you would just do like a big, full, expanded story, and even if it's not like going off like I made fun of like X-Men nowadays, where it's like there's 400 titles and you got it's just even if it was just in the Wolverine thing, like he just skips. It just seemed like he had a story to tell, and he didn't want to take the time to write all of that stuff. So he's like, look, it's fucking cool this way as well. So like we're just gonna skip all that little stuff and hit those big moments, kind of like a Michael Bay movie or something. Like there's no character development. It's just Transformers fighting or Ninja Turtles fighting or whatever. Like that's what this fucking thing is. Like sure, there's a moment where you find out why Wolverine, why he is where he is now, and he cries a little bit. But we're not gonna linger on that, because the next page turn, it's the Doom buggy riding, and they've already gone 1,000 more miles. Like shit like that. I was like, there could have been a little bit more. So I'm torn. I want to give it like a 9, or I want to give it a 7, but I think I'm gonna give it an 8 to kind of mix those two, because I enjoyed myself reading it, but also I don't think it was as good as it could have been. But at the same time, like sometimes you just want to have fucking fun reading comics, So like this was fun, but also I feel like it could have been more, so I don't know. I'm torn between it because I want to know more about it, and I wish I didn't have to read a whole other series that's not written by Mark Miller, about this. So
now that you've said that it's not by him, it's like, oh, because I like the storytelling in this too. So like, I feel like I probably won't. Like
I don't think the arts would be as good or the story would be as tight or whatever.
I might dip my toe just to see because I'm legitimately like I totally.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind at least reading the first trade like later on and seeing where does it take off? Like, does it just keep going directly from this, or is it like 10 years after that?
Or does it explain any of the? Does it go back to anything?
Right.
Because I totally would love to see like how all the villains like what the whole plan was there.
Right.
Like we got an idea of the plan, obviously, but like learning exactly like what the whole plan was and how they decided to work together and like divvy up stuff like that sounds cool too.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more you can mine here. He just set up the equipment, or like he unboxed it and then let the other people do the hard other stuff. Like the long slog of telling the whole world or whatever. Or like building the world. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and I did have a lot of fun rereading it. And there was the moments where like, fuck yeah, where like he bursts out of Hulk or when he decapitates, Red Skull and all of that. So like I had a blast reading it, but also I felt like there could have been more if he had wanted to like flesh it out more. So I'm going to give it an 8 because I'm torn between a 9 and a 7. So we'll give it an 8 just for that. But yeah, on that note, next week we are going to be reading
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer. You might have seen this movie when you were a child.
Matt told me that there was a comic, and we kept like there's been like 3 or 4 episodes in a row where we just kept bringing up The Rocketeer. And I used to love that movie too. I haven't seen it.
I fucking love it. It's fantastic.
But I was like, I want to get back into some of that lore, and I was like, let's do the comic, and then I can rewatch the movie like here shortly too. But like, let's do this comic because like that sounds fun. I'm ready for some kick-ass like jetpacking, Nazi punching.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Neville Sinclair. Yeah, so we're gonna read the original Dave Stevens stuff that was published by IDW a couple, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago now. I think it's only like 4 issues or something like that. But
nice.
Yeah, it's not super long. But it is. I mean, this was like an independent published thing. It's not like Marvel, DC, or anything. It's just this guy doing his own story, like kind of an old school character, like his own little love that he wanted to write about. So I love it when people do that, and yeah, should be very awesome. And if you guys want to read along and like hear us talk about it or let us spoil it for you, whichever you want to do, check it out. Like I said, it's just the Dave Stevens main volume of The Rocketeer, not the other, like, because they came out with other volumes from IDW that other people wrote. So this is just his original stuff that he published, I think under like Mirage Studios or something like that. So
nice.
Or Malibu, maybe, I don't know. Some 80s shit. It was in the 80s. So but yeah, anyway, if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can email us at Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, all one word, at gmail.com.
Don't forget about our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel for exclusive content. We've got a lot of content we're starting to throw out there. Matt and I have been bouncing ideas off each other, and Matt's been doing his monthly vlogs now. Bi-monthly, pardon me.
Or no, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly vlogs. Well,
every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bi-monthly means every 2 months.
Yeah, and we're thinking about it, and we're going to do some more reviews and some fun things. So definitely check it out, and don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple.
Yeah, an Apple or whatever. I mean, somewhere, iTunes, any of those places. That helps us out a lot.
Yes.
Helps us spread the word. If you guys like us, please share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.